time for Coffee on the Coast Book Banter. Good afternoon and welcome to Coffee on the Coast. I'm your host today. I am delighted to welcome back Therese Horstketter from Manitowoc Public Library for an episode of Book Banter. Hi, Therese.
Yeah. Hi.
We're both dressed kind of in our holiday colors. We're going into Christmas time, and I feel like you are as good, if not better, than a Christmas elf bringing us these little treats.
Oh, we love to talk books. Yep, I do.
And I have to say, Therese, I have read so many good books based on your recommendations, books that I don't know if they would have ever come across,
Oh,
my purview otherwise. I just finished reading Come Fly the World. It
oh,
was so
yes.
good. I really
Yep.
enjoyed that book.
Yeah. There are, and I get lots of recommendations from coworkers and sometimes from patrons who've read something and mentioned it. So, it's that whole sharing book world that's, it's great then to share out with others.
Yeah, there's not
Yeah.
enough time in anyone's
Oh,
lifetime to read all of the possibilities. So
no,
recommendations are
no.
really appreciated.
Yeah.
So, viewers, if you have any recommendations, feel free to put them in the chat. We'd love to know what you're reading and what you'd recommend. So, Therese, let's get right down to it because I know you've got some great selections for us. Books that you might want to check out as we're going into the holidays if you've got some extra time to yourself. Let's start. Tell us about this book called All Good People Here, a novel by Ashley Flowers.
Okay, of the books we're discussing today, this is the one that is a mystery. Since those are always my favorite, it's hard for me to get away from them for very much time. But um, this one is about a woman who has been away but goes back to her hometown when her uncle, who his wife has passed away, and he has developed early onset dementia. And so she goes home, back to her hometown, I should say, to take care of him and spend some time with him. And they were always fairly close. And when she does go back, it seems like everything is just the same as when she left years ago. The people still behave the same. It's still this small town where everybody kind of knows everybody's business. And there was a crime from years ago, that a 6-year-old girl died. And it was basically just a feeling that it was never solved. And so she happens to come home, and within a very short time, a 5-year-old girl disappears. And this is over the space of, I'm trying to think, it was like possibly 15 years ago that this happened, that the first one happened. So it's not like she moved away and then it just continued. This is a whole new space of time. And
Did
so
she
now
do
we
it?
have, pardon?
Did she do it?
No, that I can say. And I don't think I ever got any feeling like that, she came back and then that was the reason. But so you go into just what all is happening and how she was good friends with actually the the kids, the family that the girl disappeared from. And so it's just a good mystery about what happened with that one. And now, does it have a connection to this one? Is it someone that maybe even having this person back in their sights brought back old memories? Or is it just something that is a really, really horrible coincidence that this happens now that she is back in town 20 years later? So, so yeah, it was just, I thought, a pretty good mystery.
Without giving too much away, does it
Right.
resolve itself in the end?
Yes, it
Okay.
does.
Okay.
Mhm.
How did
Not
you
like
feel
some
after
books
you?
that people have given me that leave you kind of hanging at the end,
Sorry.
trying to decide what happened. And I've read those. I've read a handful, but yeah. And sometimes I actually even contacted an author one time and said, "Is this what you meant?" at the end of this book, because I could have taken it 3 different ways. And I finally emailed and said, is this the person that you intended me to think of when you had them at the end of the book? And she was very nice and said, yes, thank you for asking. And yeah, so that was nice. But
That's pretty cool that she replied.
yeah.
Okay, so this one wraps it up. You have a conclusion
Yes.
at the end.
Yes.
And how did you feel when you were done? Was it like
I just thought it was a good book. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice. Awesome. All right, that's All Good People Here by Ashley Flowers. So let's talk about another recommendation, Therese. You've got The Banned Bookshop of Maggie Banks by Shauna Robinson.
This one is about a woman who comes to another city to help her friend who is pregnant at the time, working at a bookshop, and she's going to need someone basically to help her for a while and then take over while she just can't be there for, a little amount of time at least. And the city is unique in that they had a famous author that was a part of their city. And so they have, say, a diner that features foods that are a play on some of the books, that kind of thing. And this bookstore, though, only sells books that were written in that author's time or before. So they're not selling any new books or anything.
Oh.
It's a very different bookstore. There's a gentleman who rents an apartment upstairs, and there are a few different characters that Maggie gets to know. And then it's just that any newer books are banned, is kind of the way that this is a banned bookshop. And so I thought it was very good. They didn't push things any too fast. You had some different relationships grow. You had people who kind of work towards, there are other people kind of with the feeling that we could change more things if this person who owns all of these places would listen to us and let us do things differently. So there are things that start happening on the sly that you just get to, they tell each other by word of mouth for different get-togethers and things, and just to further things without being able to change everything. So it was just pretty nice the way that they work some things out. And yeah, and some, you have different people meet each other, and it was just, it's a nice character book with a lot of the different people in it and the way they come together.
Oh, that's lovely. Is it a mystery?
No,
Okay.
Not a mystery. This is more of a mainstream fiction, and has it's just nice to see people working towards something together that was important to all of them, both because of what they loved, and this woman who loves books and then can't even have new books on the shelf for anybody. That would be like if our library just stopped at a certain year and that was it. You can't imagine. Yeah. And, but yeah, very good.
That's a really interesting premise. So the last book that I read that was sort of centered around a bookshop was The Storied Life of A.J. Fickrey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
yes.
I love that.
That was book. A good read. Yes.
Yeah. So is this, would you put that kind of in that category?
It's a long time since I read that one, and I know I liked it. And I would say they are somewhat, at least. I don't have the whole feel of it, in my head to compare it exactly. But yeah, I love both, and they're both about books. So yeah.
Love it. I love stories bringing people together like that. That is awesome. Okay, That is The Banned Bookshop of Maggie Banks by Shauna Robinson. And I'll just read the cover in case you can't see it. It says, a sparkling, bookish story about rules just begging to be broken. I couldn't get enough.
Yep.
Can't wait to read
it was good.
Okay, so you've got another book. This is called Any Other Family, a novel by Eleanor Brown.
Okay, and I can't say I read the book that is listed that she previously wrote, so I can't tell you if it is a lot like that or not, for if anybody has read that one. But this one was it was, I want to say it's kind of a hard book to read. It is emotionally. It is about three families, um, a little bit older couple, not, I would say probably in their 50s. I don't remember exactly. Another couple that is 30 to 40, and then a single woman, and all three have adopted children that one woman gave birth to. So they all fostered the children, and then, so part of the book is about foster care and then adoption. And so at least, so the one family had really gone through a lot trying to have children, didn't, and then this just out of nowhere, she ran into one of the other families and ends up being a part of this. So we have these three families who are determined to keep these children be siblings yet, to know them since they were originally, the one was in school when this happened, that they became available for adoption. So there's a young mother and a father who is not in the picture often, and but they're actually on a vacation together. They have a big vacation. They've gotten together for birthdays and holidays. Now they're on a vacation, and they find out that the woman is pregnant again. So now comes a really, really big decision for all. And this is a blurb at the beginning of the book, basically, just telling you that this is what happens. These families are already involved, and they have so much interaction with each other, and some really strong personalities in there. And then now it's like, what's going to happen now that we know that she's expecting again? And yeah, so yeah, there are some really pretty hard parts to read, and there's just a lot of emotion in the book when it comes to this, and how each family comes to this point, and then, like I said, how they interact together. So, and for all of the kids' sakes.
What a unique and complex plot.
Oh, it is really.
Yeah, I can see where it would be emotional just thinking about it, just thinking it through.
It is. And yeah, I really enjoyed the book, even though you say it's hard to read and it's emotional, but you know, there just is that it's what do you want to say, a good heft of emotion there, but well worth the read.
Is it a long read? Like, did it take you a long time to get through
I want
it?
to say it's more in the 300 some page range.
Okay.
But it's not also overcomplicated by, you know, when you get too many characters in somewhere, even though there are a few that you have to get to know here, and there are twins in one of the families that, yeah, so that's why we already have 4 children and the 3 families, and now, yes, this next edition, that's possible.
Wow, it's a completely different take on a family drama as far as books that I'm familiar with. Excellent, Therese. Wow, great recommendations. All right, this one I'm super intrigued by. It's called An Elderly Lady Must Not Be Crossed. Stories by Helene Thurston.
Right. It is 6 stories about a lady named Maud. And I look this up on Amazon often because they'll have a little blurb that I can kind of refer to if I've forgotten a little bit in the course of reading. But she may be nearly 90, but if you cross her, this elderly lady is more sinister than sweet. And so there are 6 stories in here that kind of show you what Maud is capable of without getting really nasty, it's just, yeah, it's not just like she's a serial killer and there you go. It's nothing like that. It is, but she has things that surprised me a bit. And I remember in writing, I always keep my tablet with all of my books that I've read. And here I have marked down, she is vicious but practical, and in the end, generous. So Maud is unique, and I think we've probably seen in some shows people who are somewhat like Maud. You know, she is, yeah. They were just good little stories, and they're short little reads, so you can. It's a short book overall. When you see the book physically, it is little, you know, like 4 by 5 inches. It's a tiny little book.
Oh, oh.
So that's what caught my eye with it when I actually saw the book one day and decided to pick it up. And yeah, so it was a quick little read, and I thought, oh, that's kind of a fun one for now, or for to fit in between when you may not have a lot of time to sit down and read.
I'm intrigued
Yeah.
by the concept of generous, practical viciousness.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. She has all of that.
And it's also good to know that a librarian can be intrigued by the book
Oh,
the
definitely.
cover of a book. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
And looking at this cover, if you look closely, I can see the skulls that are part
Yes.
of the.
Uh-huh.
So is it a play on words where it says must not be crossed? Is that an example of cross stitch? Or
No, I wouldn't quite go with that. I'm trying to think if she did that or not. That one I read a few books ago. I'm not recalling that, but yeah. Sorry.
no, that's cool. And it says translated by. So do you have any idea what language it was originally in?
No. I'm sorry. I am just helpless with this one. No. I read the book and I didn't look any further. No, I did notice that, but I never looked at it to see what it was translated from
Okay.
originally.
It's always
And
interesting to me to know the stories that other cultures and people are telling themselves around the world.
mhm. And I believe that there is another book though by this woman, and I'm trying to remember if it said that it was also one that had to do with an elderly lady or not. I'd have to look it up again.
Hmm.
It just, some things got away on me in the past couple weeks. Didn't quite get back to it.
So you
But
gave us a glimpse of your notebook and you said you marked down the
yes,
books that you've read. Does
oh,
that
I
mean you
do.
have a tally? Do you know how many books you've read?
No, I wish I had done that when I was little. I lived just around the corner from one of the satellite libraries. So I was there like every day. And I really can't imagine how many books I've read. I wish I had. I keep tablets. I actually started doing that probably about in the past 10 years or so, that I started jotting them down. And then especially when I started doing this and just other, I would do previews and things for Facebook from
Oh
us.
yeah, yeah.
And so, it's just, I started keeping more track so that when someone said, did you read this? And you read so many, and then a lot of titles that are a little bit, close to each other. Yeah,
Yep.
to get a little blurb down to remember what it was about.
So let me ask you this, and maybe you don't have an answer, but do you have like a go-to author? Is there an author that if they release a book, you definitely want to read it?
I have a few, and it's funny because for how much I love mystery, I love the Jack Reacher books that are by Lee Child. And there are, I would have to look through and say, who do I really read the most here? Because there are authors that kind of come and go that I've read for a while, and then and really, and those are, like I said, the Jack Reacher ones, they have somewhat of a mystery once in a while, like as to who is doing something, but I wouldn't call them a straight mystery. But those are definitely a go-to, that I love the pacing of those books. But yeah, there's just so many that I I could probably give you my top 20, if I started looking through, but it's hard to say just one that is my always go-to,
Right, right. It depends on mood and everything too, topic. So
right?
let's switch topics. Let's
Okay.
talk a little Christmas. So this book is
Uh-huh.
called A Quilt for Christmas. It's a Christmas novella by Melody
Yeah.
Carlson.
Yeah. I just ran across this book by accident. I'm usually not too much of a Christmas reader. And so this one I ran into, it was a short little book, and I actually picked it up to share with someone else before that I wanted to read it before I shared it with someone else. And I really enjoyed it. This one is about a woman, her first year alone after her husband's passed away. She decides that she's going to move by one of her children to be closer to her family. And after she moves, I believe it's her son-in-law that gets a job elsewhere and they move away.
Oh
So now
gosh.
she is there to kind of make her way and find people. And, she's in a whole new place by herself now.
Without the family
And
she moved to be there
right,
for. Right.
right. And so this kind of starts out that um, she meets a neighbor by accident. And then things just work their way around. It's rather in a cute way that it works around. And then a quilt is what brings some people together. And she has made quilts in the past, and so it all kind of involves around this, but the people happen together in unique ways, and a whole different group. It's not like, oh, we have a quilting group at church, here you go, and then there's the story. This is all different people who come together for a few different reasons. And yeah, so it was a good book. It's a nice book for this time of year. And yeah,
Nice. Oh, it sounds heartwarming. Okay,
it
lovely.
is. It is.
And it's one single story.
Right,
Yep.
right. And a fairly short one too, around 100 pages. Probably this is a nice shorter one if you're looking for it, being a novella.
It kind of sounds like it'd be a sweet gift too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, keeping on the Christmas theme, and this is the last book that we have, but I think it's a great one to end on. Look at how cute and charming this
I
vintage
know.
cover is. It's the
Yep.
Big Book of Christmas Mysteries. It says it's the most complete collection of Yuletide whodunits ever assembled.
This caught my eye again. The cover, I just loved when I saw it. And well, mysteries. I didn't read any of them. I didn't read this book, I should say.
So it's a
But
mystery.
it's a mystery for many reasons. But I just thought it was something nice to recommend because it's, you know, all of the different authors there that it's just calling to someone. I
Yeah.
would say quite a few people.
Yeah, so some of the stories are by Mary Higgins Clark, Ed McBain, Agatha Christie, Ellis Peters, Ellery Queen, Colin Dexter, John D. MacDonald, Rex Stout, Peter Lovesey, and then it says, and many, many more.
Hmm. And if anybody does see the title and can decide if it's a mouse or a cat or a lizard on the bottom,
Yes,
as we
okay.
were trying to figure out, we are not really sure what it is wearing a little stocking cap at the bottom of the book.
That's right. Viewers, we want your input.
Yes.
What do you think? At the very bottom, you see there's a little black animal wearing a red stocking cap. We weren't
Hmm.
sure. Is it a black cat? Is it a mouse? Is it a lizard? What do you think this is?
My vote is still for a mouse, but I'm really not sure.
A mouse would make
It's
sense for
unique.
Christmas, but doesn't it? It kind
Yeah.
of has like splayed legs like a lizard.
Hmm.
I don't
Yeah, I
know.
don't know.
Oh,
We'll just
oh,
have to write to someone.
Therese, do you know what?
Uh-oh.
I just read the
Oh
text to
no.
it.
Oh, black lizard. Oh, heavens.
We solved our own mystery. Just that
And
fast, just that
I
fun.
remember reading that when I was reading that it was edited by the gentleman listed. Okay, never mind, everybody. It is a lizard. We are you are a great mystery solver.
Well, to solve mysteries, you learn a lot by reading mysteries.
Yeah, there we go.
So do you think, Therese, the stories that are here, did these authors just happen to, amongst all the things that they were writing, had one that was Christmas focused? And so then they were consolidated into this story, or did they
I would think so.
specifically? Okay.
I'm not thinking that they wrote it for this, that it was all compiled with them being authors that are some not around and some are fairly current yet, or at least a couple. And so, yeah, I'm thinking that someone culled all those stories from wherever they found them and added them together.
Yeah, what a great collection. I love it. And I completely agree with you that this cover is, definitely eye-catching.
Yep. Yeah. Love the cover.
Awesome. Well, you've given us some great ideas, some great selections as recommendations to get us through the holidays, to hopefully enjoy over the holidays and beyond.
Yes, I hope so.
Thanks so much for taking the time, especially this close to Christmas, to come on and have a little book banter. I always appreciate it.
Oh, this was fun. Always.
Thanks for tuning in. You've been watching Coffee on the Coast. This was an episode of Book Banter. I'm your host, Tina Prigge. Delighted to be joined today by Therese Horstketter. She's a librarian at the Manitowoc Public Library. Always thankful for the great work you do. Thank you so much for watching, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody.